Get it up, lady. Good morning or afternoon. It is afternoon here. It's morning
here.
everywhere else. Pacific Mountain and Central. I'm in Eastern time, so happy freaking Monday. Welcome to Fempreneur True Confessions podcast.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura, or Oda, and it's other duties as assigned. So we are an agency of wonderful, amazing virtual assistants, project managers, all the things. Bunch of strategists for sure.
But we're a little too much, maybe too many cooks in the kitchen sometimes. I don't know.
Yep, a lot of brain power that happens.
Overthinker, over planner. Over communicator.
That's good. Because we're an agency of people that really.
You know what? It has served me in the business realm, in the corporate realm, especially. Maybe not as much in the corporate realm as it did as an entrepreneur, but in my personal life, probably not so much. Why do you have to have all the information before you do anything?
Oh yeah. Suspect. Everything's sus.
Yeah. Okay, so today we are talking about, I love this topic, expanding the field instead of guarding your turf. And what does that mean? And we jumped right in without doing our little spiel today, but we're running a little late. So listen to the beginning of another episode if you want to know how the podcast came to be.
And why it's probably going to guide most of this conversation.
Right. I was just going to say the exact same thing. So Laura and I do really similar things. So you would think we were competitors and we wouldn't want to collaborate. And that's I don't know. I know I've said in the past, it's a very patriarchal, masculine viewpoint, right? I think that's what we've been taught, conditioned to believe. I don't know that that's actually true. I haven't done my own research, so I'm not an authority there. But what I do know is in our own businesses and in other women's businesses, we've heard story after story, and we've experienced ourselves when women turn to each other and collaborate with each other and lift each other up, that there's growth there. Not this, there's always, the possibility that someone's going to stab you in the back. I've had that happen. Never by really a woman though, in corporate. Nope, that's not true. That happened too. Like the pink slime. Yeah. Pink slime that Jen Kim talks about in her podcast from many years ago. And we've mentioned Jen Kim before. She's also got a new book out called The Unicorn Team. That's awesome. Go check it out. Yes. Laura was fortunate enough to get an advanced copy that she's not quite shared with me yet. By the way.
That means it's tasked to the post office and shipping it out. And then it's like, oh, shoot, I forgot. Like, there's always a plan. The plan never goes.
I'll just have to come out there and grab it next time I'm up that way. But this idea of expanding versus guarding, right? We talk about and refer to it as an abundance mindset instead of a scarcity mindset. And expanding as in expanding the field so more women can play and win. It's about everybody winning. I don't remember which podcast guest in the past said that, but that again, another woman entrepreneur saying by playing with other women.
Yeah. We all win.
Everybody won in that situation.
Well, even how we run the agencies and stuff, we're all winning. As we grow, they grow, and there's a trickle, and my clients grow, so like there is a full effect of truly everybody winning, not there being a bottleneck of someone taking and feeling that they need to have so much more, but just the understanding of, yes, there's an abundance. It's all here for us. It's flowing. it's all going through, and everybody's in, able to win with that. And that's, where that glorious feeling comes from of, oh, yay, I'm not losing anything. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. And when there's a feeling of maybe, ooh, is somebody a good fit? Is this going to all work in this same flow? Then it's there's a group that really has that discussion. The more people that you get involved with, like we have others that come into play that we recommend in discussions, when we have clients that need things, there's always a discussion about who does everybody know, because that again is who's now the next person we can bring in to help out so that there's more of everybody being able to
Mm-hmm.
grow. So
Yeah.
yeah, it feels so good sometimes.
It
All the
does.
time.
That's one of the things, I think that's one of the reasons why I love mentoring and doing the interns so much, is especially when they're really into it and they're really appreciative and they get it and they're
Mhm.
open to taking feedback and they dive in. Um,
Mhm.
Saw a reel the other day, well, probably a week or two ago now, with John Mayer. I think it was John Mayer. I think it was John Mayer, the guy who plays the guitar, right? And he's
Yeah.
talking about creating and songwriting and how um, you just start. You just start playing and strumming and singing gibberish, so
Mhm.
words that don't even make sense, and then you keep doing that until they do.
Mhm.
And so it's just putting it out there into the ether and letting it evolve and evolve and evolve. And that's one of the other things that when you see the interns that are working inside the business and they're evolving, they're growing and they're learning and they're getting excited,
Mhm.
and then they're taking the feedback that they're getting from us, right? Just
Mhm.
like we get feedback from our clients. I got an email this morning, something's not working, something you did isn't working. Okay, great. What am I going to learn from this? You know,
Right.
did I in fact do something wrong? Or is there
Mhm.
something going on in the back end that I don't know yet? And that's interfering or somehow affecting. It's an opportunity for improvement. That's what we used to call it well, that's what they call it in the medical field, a no fee.
Mhm.
It's an opportunity for improvement. Um, it's not failure. It's
Right.
refinement. It's
Right. And
feedback.
that's what you're doing always, is you're always refining. It's when they that light bulb, that click or whatever, and
Aha
being able to
moment.
be like, "Oh, yeah," because they come in with skill sets and we're like, okay, is this what you want to do? And then we realize there's holes, which was the big problem we saw everywhere. Was
Mhm.
yes, we have these amazing skill sets, but there's holes within the skill sets. How do we fix that while they're working with our clients? Because you don't all of a sudden just go, oh, that's not the person for you. Now it's okay. Now how do we fix that? What do we need to uptrain and figure out in order for this to continue moving forward? Because it's not just a moment.
Mhm.
Sorry, you gotta go. Kind of
Yeah.
thing. That's not how we're running things at the very least. I don't. How others do it, and everybody's business is their own. That truly, like, even though we're similar, we're different. We have
Mhm.
different views of
Yeah.
where we're going,
Well, and strengths and weaknesses
Oh,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
preferences. I've gotten to the point where enjoy more and more designing. When I first started, I was like, oh, I'm not creative. And then I started to figure out I am creative. I'm just a
Yeah.
creative in a different way. I may not be
Mm-hmm.
able to paint like my mom or,
Right.
play the banjo like my brother, but I can do other things that are creative.
Exactly.
And I'm a very creative thinker. I'm like always looking at
Mhm.
things out there because I'm kind of weird. But um,
Right. Creative thinking is a big one that most aren't thinking about because it was removed. It was removed from schools, it
right.
was removed from things. And
Yeah.
so creative thinking is one that people don't think about, oh, that strategy. No. Yes. No. Or
Yes
and.
and no. Yes and no. Wait,
Yes,
no,
and
yes,
no,
no, yes.
but it's both in all reality. It is a strategy, but it's not a strategy that's just taught necessarily. It
Yeah,
is a strategy that comes with time, information, experience, kind of lived chaos, or whatever it is that it brought it to. But
yeah.
and I think that's why gatekeeping isn't something I've always thought about. When I
Mhm.
have information, I'm one that's like, oh, guess what
Oh
I
my
just
God,
found?
I can't wait to blurt, right?
Right. I have and for years, people are like, they tell me their secrets, don't tell anyone. Uh-huh. I can't hold water. Now, super important secrets, I will hold that for
Well,
as
that's
long as I
different.
possibly can. But I get real
That's so
frustrated.
different.
I get so frustrated even having to because I forget. I get excited and just start talking.
Yeah.
Bad
Well, in
scenario.
the medical, I spent a lot of years in hospital
Mm,
administration. So
mhm.
HIPAA, there's
Yeah.
just things you can't talk about.
Hmm.
Um, some of it being proprietary, but also, just privacy, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And there's another word I can't think of when you're working in a corporate environment where things are happening and you just don't talk about them, you know?
Yeah. There is a
Um,
secrecy that goes along with changes, especially when changes are being made. There is a quietness that falls,
mhm.
and then everybody starts to feel that, oh, there's something coming, the dread of
Yeah,
something.
there's an energetic
But
shift for sure that comes with
yeah,
that. Yeah. But,
we try to
I
make
don't
it
think
as natural as possible.
it's never too late um, to look at something that's happened in the past. I did this last week. I'm working with a new coach, and um, learning how to rewire and reframe things from our past. It's never too late to do that.
Hmm.
And it helps you, it helped me. I can only speak for myself, I suppose. Helped me understand that that mistake or failure um, actually was a huge breakthrough. It was
Hmm.
painful, it was uncomfortable, it was messy, but it was
Yeah.
also a huge breakthrough that,
Hmm.
if I allow it, will refine me and
Hmm.
make me a better person, a better partner, a better leader,
Yeah.
better healer,
Hmm.
a better coach myself, right?
Right.
Um, so that was one of the other things that we definitely wanted to talk about today, was that it's never too late, and that so often, if we take the moment to breathe and stop and look at the so-called failure or mistake, understand that this could be just one step of refinement into maybe the biggest breakthrough that you've had. um,
Hmm.
I will tell you, they are starting. The breakthroughs are starting. I have a client that just had a huge breakthrough in her business, in her
Yeah.
career. And I am so
Hmm.
flippin' happy for her. She's been a
Hmm.
guest on the podcast. I'm not sure if I can say anything yet, so I'm not going to, but it's
Right.
huge. It's
Hmm.
huge. And I see other
Okay.
people who are on this cusp of feeling so frustrated
Hmm.
and almost a sense of desperation because they're believing and pushing through and investing, and they're not seeing the outcomes yet, but they're
Hmm.
so close, you guys. They're so close. And when you start to see them in other people, it helps you too, to give you hope for yourself. Me,
Hmm.
oh my God, it's going to happen soon. I can feel it. Even though right
Right.
now it feels really dead and dry, or just bleh, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
We've
that,
talked about that blood, that in between, where it's like
yes, the
something's
in
kind of,
between.
yeah. It feels like an in between place. That's why in our coaching group, when I described and they're like, "How are you feeling?" and I always be like, "I'm good, I'm fine," and then I'm like, "Maybe." But it's because then I've hit that in between moment where I'm like, I really don't know. I'm not sad. Nothing's wrong with me,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I'm not excited. I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just being, because I have zero clue. Like that's, and you get to that in moments. And I think there's a scary part to that for a lot of people where they're like, oh my God, I don't want to go and go and go and go and go. Or, oh, or this on the other side. Like they just start to get real scary of that. And I was not comfortable in that. I'm like, I've been going my whole life. My biggest thing was peace. I needed quiet. We even moved. I needed quiet. I don't need crowds. I don't need people. I needed to unpeople my world.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had it, and I was like, all of a sudden, like, oh my God, where's all the noise? Where's the chaos? Where's the problem? And
Right. Because
started
that's
little.
what was familiar. So it felt safe and comfortable. And then you removed yourself from it. And then it felt very foreign.
Yeah. I got quickly comfortable with it. I'm happy to have my peace. But
And
we've
once
also
you get
been
it,
working on the just being. Yeah.
once you get it, and once you've had it,
Mm-hmm.
you get really fierce about protecting it. And people
Yes.
be like, what? And they'll
Mm-hmm.
start dropping off.
Yeah.
And that's
I've
hard
had
too.
that. And yeah. We've
That's
talked
hard
about
too.
that.
Yep. We've
Mm-hmm.
talked about that. Like, let them, like Mel Robbins says, let them,
It's
you know,
always easier said than done, but
it
when it
is, it
starts, the
is.
first couple of things that happen, and you're like, "Oh my God, no!" But as it continues to happen, you're like, "Okay," because you
Okay.
do start to realize in your life that holding too tight. Just, I love that analogy of the bird. If you set it free and it comes back,
Mm-hmm.
whereas if it doesn't, it never was. And even if it does, like it's still, then it's a mutual. Now you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that kind of weird place. Anyway, we got off track, didn't we? I don't
I
know if
don't
there's
think,
a
no,
track.
I don't think so. I mean,
So
yeah. So today's all about, well, true leadership, right?
Mhm.
Being that ability to recognize that we don't need, number one, we don't need to guard our turf. We don't have to guard our turf. We don't want to, because we are
Mhm.
interested in expanding our field,
Mhm.
um, by supporting other women collaborating instead of trying
Mhm.
to compete or step over, climb over, throw slime at, or any of those things. And I
Yeah.
can see we've got one person viewing live on YouTube. Feel free to drop a comment and say hello. We love to hear from you guys. And I think it might be Patricia. It's usually Patricia. But anyway,
Oh,
whoever you are, say hi.
just say hi.
Yes, yes. Thank you for tuning in. So, no, I don't think we're off topic. I think, uh, and leadership is just like any other thing. It's
Yeah.
a growth, right? And
Mhm.
we're evolving, refining ourselves, becoming better
Mhm.
leaders, just like a story
Yeah.
arc. It's going to go, um, and then we're going to hit this thing. I think one of the challenges for me, anyway, is I love what I do every day so much, but
Mhm.
I'll be honest with you. I love my weekends even more, and I'm so passionate about what we're doing, my partner and I are doing. And it was what he was doing when I met him.
Right.
Um, and I get really excited about doing those events and, um, just passing out the love and the good vibes and all and inspirational
Yeah.
messages that he writes. Um, and it doesn't have to be an event. We were out to dinner with friends on Saturday night, and he started making balloon animals for my friends' kids, and the kids
Oh.
and the parents just started coming.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
um, and so for me, it's like, okay, so what still excites you? What makes you get up in the morning? What makes you want to get your butt in the chair? Um, every once in a while, I'll get an urge to write something, and I don't always share it, but
Mhm.
that's happening more, and that feels good.
Mhm.
So I feel like, okay, and I'm getting all of these signs now. We went to a lecture yesterday about looking for signs and how to recognize signs that your guides are talking to you, are guiding you, and who they are and the types of guides and all of that stuff. And actually this started when I was in the Christian church. And whenever I saw 616, which is my birthday, that was my sign from God that I was on the right path, that I was doing the right thing, that I was okay. It was that was a really, really painful time for me, personally. And so that really got me through. And I still see, every once in a while, I'll look down at my computer or my phone or the microwave timer. It's weird. A license plate, and I'll see those numbers, the radio. And I'll be like, oh, cool. But lately it's been angel numbers, like the single digit repeating numbers, like 3 or 4. And all of them point towards you're on the right path, you're doing good, you're doing right, and knowing that I need that kind of encouragement, because shifting from one thing that really, really well into something that you aren't as confident in, it's hard, and I've been putting it off for over a year now. It's time.
I love that you're seeing the angel numbers, because the repetitive numbers. I think we were talking about like a month ago. I was up and it was 111, it was 222, 333, 4, and all the numbers all morning. And I kept waking up like, you've got to be kidding me. Every hour and 11 minutes, we're going to do this. You don't think you could call on me while they're waking hours? Like, and it's funny conversations that you have, but those are pushes. I knew very clearly that morning when I actually woke up that there was something significant that day, but who knew what, like you said. And it's, and I quickly, figured out that there are changes to make, and there's some things that I wanted to do and got some clarity on things. So I love that if you follow it. You know what I really love about the angel numbers and kind of all sorts is that once you've kind of gotten used to them, you work out with your guides what they mean to you. So like you said, the 616 is very specific, and it could mean something totally different, but for you, that's specifically what it means, I have a huge attachment to the number 3 for whatever reason. So when something really significant and important is necessary for me to really pay attention to, I see 3s everywhere. I don't know why. And I don't even know what the significance of 3 is, but it's been that way in birth. Like, I group everything in 3s. I don't know why. So, but it's that I know. And when I start to see 3s, for me, immediately, it's sit your ass down. And pay attention, because you're a little bit too chaotic and you're not listening. Like, that's the shout, right? Shout out to it. So, seeing that, and you're being guided. Well, I think that's another part of like the, as the collaborating, the moving forward and things together, is that we're being guided in certain ways. And we trust that for each other, which means we trust that enough intertwined within our businesses, is that somewhere in that, no matter how crazy chaotic I can get at times, I am technically being guided. You witness it through our coaching group, as well as like you feel it and you see it because you get to see the changes on the backside. But there's, depending on who you are, that could feel really safe to you or really unsafe. My spirit guides are sarcastic and sassy because I am. They speak my language, so they can be, I think, at times very sarcastic. Like, really? Okay. But it's that, I think for us, that also helps, is that we do resonate on those same understandings and spiritual beliefs and connections and things as well, which is part of that. Yeah,
for sure.
I collaborate with just everybody, or I don't. I know you don't.
Right. No. We've talked about that too, about being trusting our gut. There was a lot about that. I noticed yesterday. we went to a psychic fair, and
Ooh.
most of the vendors that were there with a lot of crystals, right?
Hmm.
I Girl, I have so many rocks in my house now.
Yeah.
I was like not even really looking at the like I have the collection that I have purchased. And then my daughter moved last month. I went to help her, and she's like, "Mom, do you want these?" A huge bag of them that
Oh.
some of them probably were my mom's, some of them probably
Hmm.
she gathered. So I still have them in the bag because I want to clear them before I like put them out. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I wasn't really paying attention to those. And then it was really cool though. I had never been to one. So and then around the perimeter of this hall, it was at a like an Elks Lodge or something, and where all the psychics and the readers and the mediums and stuff. And so they have little waiting areas and lines and places where you could sign up and work with the people that were there.
Yeah.
But they also had free lectures, and most of the lectures were, and also a lot of the like just walking by the tables and stuff. I noticed they people were in conversation about trusting your gut. And I literally heard someone say, it's intuition. We call it women's intuition, and men call it a gut feeling, right? But it's the
Hmm.
same, that's
Same
spirit
thing.
nudging you. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and being able to tune into that, and learning to get into presence,
Hmm.
right? Like being able to just go into that really quickly. I'm learning to do that so that I can like um, check in and actually confirm that what I'm feeling and sensing and being impressed upon is truly that, the
Hmm.
guide or whatever that's coming through, and not just my brain. Because that's
Right.
where I tend to be. It's in my head.
Yeah.
I'm all up in my
Absolutely.
head thinking about all of the things. Um, Very cerebral, very pragmatic. I mean, just um,
Mhm.
not so much of the woo.
Yeah. Well, I. Yeah, my head. I'm learning to connect. So or not even connect. I'm learning to stay out of my head and start reading my gut and
Right.
my body and my system in a big way. And it is difficult because I have been literally okay. You can certify me after this one. But I've literally been talking to myself my entire life,
Oh God.
thinking that was normal. I thought everybody had inner dialogue. I had no idea my whole freaking life that that is not something everybody has. I literally, it is a
Wait,
full on
what?
conversations my whole entire life,
We
inner
don't
dialogue.
like I do.
Not everybody has that, and that is so odd to me because I know people that
How
do.
can you not?
But my husband
I don't
literally,
understand. That
he
doesn't
shuts
compute.
off. He doesn't. He's got inner dialogue, like he can think, but mine is past thinking. Mine are like real. We make decisions in my head. There are full on meetings
Oh
that
yeah.
happen.
Oh yeah.
And my husband's like, no, when I it's time to go to sleep or when it's time to wind down, I'm not thinking about anything. And I just don't believe that's true. And I've called bullshit on that my whole life,
Yeah.
but it is absolutely true. Some people
Mm.
don't have that. And people think that I do, or those that don't have it think it is absolutely odd. But they also laugh at me because I see shapes in the clouds and I could point it out. I could probably take a picture and draw it, and they're gonna be like, I don't see it. So whatever. But
So whatever.
anyway,
Anyway.
whatever. But I have a full on dialogue. Now, I've learned that that's great. That's supposed to happen in my human design. That makes a whole lot of sense. Knowing what my human design is now, I now know that is absolutely normal for me. What I also know to be true is that my head and my heart aren't connected. And so a lot of times my head is going, but the rest of my body isn't reacting to it because they're not connected. So I'm learning to connect the two so that as my head is going, my body can be like, oh God, no, stop.
Whoa, Nelly is what my mom used to say.
Forward, like that kind of thing. So that's what I'm learning, like you have to feel it physically. I've always been in the logical, always. And my head has been like, people are like, well, it's lonely. Don't you feel like a loner sometimes? Because we've talked about that I'm a loner and I love my being alone. I'm not bored. I have zero problems. It could be months of no contact with people, and I'm fine with that.
Right.
And that's another thing most people don't understand. But I'm like, I'm never really alone. My world doesn't shut down. Things don't get quiet.
And maybe that's what it is. It's like, so I've seen ghosts before, like when I was young, but my mom normalized it. Like, hey, just so you know, there's a ghost in this house. Just be aware. Don't let it scare you, blah, blah, blah. Because she would sense it and be like, it's cool. It's not anything bad. And, as I grew up and became an adult, I logicized it, or whatever you want to call it, that
and
she
became scared.
No, I just was like, well, she must have, like, because she said that, then I thought I saw something. I didn't actually see something because, I was in the church, the Christian church, for so long, and, you can't know spirits, bad kind of thing. But, the more I learned and educated myself outside of Judaism, traditional Christianity, whatever, you learn that, spirits aren't all bad, kind of thing. And and that it's just, and the more I learn, it's like all vibration. It's all about vibration. But I was not aware that not everyone has an inner dialogue. That's news to me. I thought everybody in their head was talking to themselves and making decisions and doing all these thinking things. I literally have to tell myself
some
at
people
night,
just
like,
think
like, okay,
specific. Like, like they think specific. So something comes in, and like, or somebody says something, they think about it, and that, like, it's a whole conversation long after they've left. And it's partially why I don't like people are drawn to me and they tell me random things about themselves. But they walk away and I'm stuck with the random loop of what they've said and why, and then the story that grows from that. See, that's the creative part. Because now my head's got like a whole world of shit it can create with that. But random people do that to me all the time, and I'm like, God, why? Because my brain doesn't stop at that random experience. That's there. It happened, and they go about their day, and I've never been a thought again in their life.
Yeah.
And now they're taking up some random space in my head.
Yeah. We did sit in on one lecture yesterday, and she talked about spirit guides. And one of the stories she shared early on, she was like, I was looking for an answer, trying to make a decision, like this or that kind of thing. And she's walking down the street, and I think she lived in California at the time. And this homeless guy runs across the street in a hurry, very agitated, blurts something out at her, and then says, okay, bye, and goes back. And it was her answer. So specific that it was undeniable that that was the answer, and that it came through another person. She's like, so don't Don't be surprised. Don't
Right.
or don't discount the fact that it could come from another person. And it may be a
Yeah.
passing comment that doesn't seem to relate, you know, but
Hmm.
it's for you. And, you know,
Right.
um,
But it's
look for
always
synchronicity.
confusion because I'm not
Yeah.
like a symbols person. Like people watch for symbols. Like, like I have read about the angel numbers forever. But if you were to sit here and be like, what does one mean, two mean? I've got those pretty good. But I don't like knowing the real true breakdown of things is not something I necessarily focus on. So
Mm.
for me, there's usually a symbol in something. Or, if I say it to somebody else and they go, oh, hey. But being in the moment, I'm always confused. Like, okay. That's usually my response because I'm just like, why?
Mm-hmm.
And then I
Mm-hmm.
have to go on. I really have to sit down and process it and walk through it. But it's so funny because initially symbolism is not what comes to me. Where it's like, well, this could have meant this, and you're going to have to break this down. No, that's not the conversation that happens. It's more the confusion. What was that? Or kind of thing, where I look at people and I'm just like, oh, okay. So if my husband knows now, like if I'm out in public and someone's talking with me or saying something, and he hears me go, okay, he knows that some random shit has just been said. And I'm nervous. Like I'm trying to find a way out of this conversation. Like I need to break all energy ties right now. So yeah, it's funny because he goes, I learned those little symbols when you're out and about because you can hear it. He's like, it's like a baby cry. He goes, that's what I hear. He goes, I won't hear you talking. I won't hear you else or whatever, but you get the like, okay. Please save me. Like it's so it was
I
hilarious. Yeah.
One of the things that she talked about yesterday was like, like meditating, being able in a meditative state, and then being open, curious, and paying attention. Like it sounds so simple. It sounds so simple, but it's a really good formula because if you're paying attention, you'll start to see the synchronicities. You'll start to see, you'll notice the symbols or the numbers or whatever. Evidently for me, it's feathers.
Mhm.
I'm finding feathers. Actually, Mark finds most of these feathers, but I used to find, and I love feathers. Like I love them.
Mhm.
Um, uh, I just had a
Oh.
flashback, a memory of when my kids were in middle school. Every year we did a fundraiser, and the school did, right? And you had to go out and raise money. Well, to hype them up, we were selling Christmas wrapping paper, okay? So, I mean, how do you get people excited about buying wrapping paper that's twice as expensive as what you can get at Walmart, right? So, what they did was they
Right.
said you get a teacher, you get a parent, and you get a kid, a couple kids or whatever, and you're going to have a fashion show and you're going to create fashions out of this wrapping paper. Girl, I had this teacher dressed up as the My Fair Lady from the races. It was so much fun. But do you know the main thing was
Love.
peacock feather? We got a big hat, and put peacock feathers in it. And that was the icing on the cake. It was
Yeah.
so much fun.
Oh my God.
But anyway, a little off topic. But so today, basically, we talked about leadership, and the three things that we feel like are paramount to developing ourselves as a leader is
Mhm.
that ability to expand and be expansive and think expansive instead of guarding your turf.
Mhm.
Um, and that failure is just fuel for the
Mhm.
next big breakthrough, right? It's
Yeah.
refinement, the challenges that we're facing, that we're going through, that we've been through, that we're in the middle of right now are what are refining us for that next big breakthrough, and that it's never too late. It's never too late to look back at challenges and go, okay, I flubbed that up. How
Right.
differently and learned from it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're always learning. That is definitely, my team teaches me regularly the things that go on. We are always learning. And it doesn't matter who you're learning from. Like you said, somebody that you would not expect to learn a lesson from just all of a sudden, brought into life clarity. So we're always learning. And I think that's the big thing. If you're a leader,
If
you're
we're
a
paying
business
attention.
owner, yeah.
And we're not on autopilot and we're being present, right?
Yeah.
We can learn from everything around us.
Yeah.
Life is that's why we're here, is to learn. Jean calls it, my client Jean Walters, she calls it Earth School. I love that.
Mm-hmm. I love it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like. I've heard it referred to that as well. And I agree. This is definitely a place of learning something. Like, whatever purpose Earth is, then yeah. But it is definitely teaching.
For sure.
So.
Well, that's it for this week, I guess. We're about out of time. Next week's guest is Laura Lynn Mears, and Laura Lynn is an executive at she's 3 Fortune 100 and numerous startups. She's an expert in operating at the intersection of technology, science, and commercialization. She's a journalist and author of a national gold medal indie book, winner of a national pitch contest, and founder of an award-winning e-learning platform. Can't wait to talk to Laura Lynn next week, and we'll see you guys next Monday. That would be the 15th, 12 Eastern, 11 Central, 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific. Wow. 9 o'clock? No, now it's 10. 11.
Well, no, Pacific is 9. Arizona's the only one that doesn't change. So it's still, it's Pacific is 9 o'clock right now.
Do we know anybody in Arizona? Melissa?
Yeah.
Arizona?
Melissa's Arizona.
Yeah.
So she doesn't do time change. Part of the year she's in Mountain Time. Part of the year she's in Pacific Time.
That's so weird. But anyway, we're here all the time, every week anyway. and we're available all the time. Just hit us up. FCCpodcast.com, and we look forward to seeing you guys.